to episode one.
And that's staying in an intro. Welcome everybody to episode 1 of Welcome to the Swamp with Peair.
That's good.
And I want to go ahead and get straight into it here today. So I want to go in for the slim chance people out here that have not heard you. I want to say the people who don't know you yet, who are you and what kind of music do you make?
Man, I'm an artist that loves talking about what he's doing in his own life. I feel like my faith is a big thing about my life, so it ends up kind of talking about my own faith. But I'm an artist that loves the creativity. I love the originality that can bring into Christian music, and I feel like that's not something you see very often. And I think having that mindset really can shift the game. And I feel like leaving a different legacy in Christian hip hop would be really, really cool. So that's me. That's me as a whole. That's my summary, my chat GPT summary real quick.
Now I want to go ahead and I want to start asking you what made you want to start making music? What made you get into it? And what made you just wanted you to just, create?
Yeah, so my dad was a huge like musical figure in my life. I grew up like watching him play at bars and stuff, and he's still in a band today. And so it was really cool because last summer I got to do a show with him for like the first time, and that was really, really fun. But he like plays in like a cover band and just does like rock music, and it's just really, really fun to see like that. To see somebody express themselves so creatively in just a hobby, right? And so I remember back in middle school, I was dating this girl and I was in Rhode Island with my dad. I live in Alabama, but I was in Rhode Island with my dad and the girl had broke up with me and I was in middle school just thinking like this was like the tragedy that I didn't need in my life. And so I was like kind of struggling with it. I ended up talking to my dad and he was just kind of telling me like express yourself creatively like it's a therapeutic outlet, you know? And so he always knew I like loved rap and I loved Eminem and then I was just studying that first album a lot just because it's so creative and just seeing like an artist express themselves in such a different manner was such a fascinating thing to see. But I remember after that conversation I was on my airplane back home to Alabama and I took my last name and it was Lapeer. So I took off the LE and it ended up just kind of becoming Pierre because I think I was on an airplane, and I think that was the funny thing about that. We have a joke too, like I was peeing on the airplane, so it's Pierre because I was peeing in the air. But outside of that, um, ended up like starting as your typical SoundCloud rapper, your secular rapper, just talking about money, sex, drugs, all that good stuff. And then I ended up going to church. I had my best friend back home, Grayson. Shout out Grayson. He invited me to a small group, and I didn't know what it was really, but I knew all my friends were going, so I wanted to go. And so ended up really like kind of getting planted there, and it was really really cool. And so fast forward, I'm really strong in my faith now, and so I ended up having this conversation with my youth pastor at the same church I was getting planted at, and he was just basically telling me like, listen, like we see you as like a natural leader, like this is really good for you, um but we also have an issue where your music is really not bringing any glory to God, like it's really misleading people, especially because they see you here and you're planting here and you're really growing in your faith here, and we see that, but music that you're representing is not something that we want to associate with, and I think it misrepresents you as a person. So after that conversation I had to like really wrestle with that and understand what conviction meant and conviction was. Still kind of a noob to that at that time, so it was really really neat, but ended up taking a week of just prayer and just really wrestling with God, and ended up ultimately like quitting music. And after that, I got planted in the church way more, and I was an intern there for a whole year, and that was awesome. At the end of the internship, I ended up getting up on stage and doing a rap that I got asked to like write a Christian remix, Christian rap. Wait, I ended up writing a verse to the Oh, okay, can't talk. LOL. Sorry, my outtakes right now are crazy. I bet, but basically he asked me. I had the oppor- Okay, I had the opportunity. Sorry. Okay, I got this. I had the opportunity to do like a remix on this verse for the song Nothing Else, and I ended up performing that in front of like 500 like youth kids, and that was like such a spiritual high for me. And then after that moment, I really started asking more questions about what Christian hip hop was, and artists that I could look to, and so I really started studying like KB and Lecrae and getting to know them. And so that was such a cool moment. But even fast forward even more, I was really like entering Christian hip hop for the first time at this point. And I remember doing a show in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that's where I met like Coastside and Young Drew for like the first time. And even so many other names that are like I'm still friends with today. But I was like, I remember I was in a music video with Young Drew, Jay Woods, and this guy named Caleb Tucker. And it was such a random thing, but I was in an Airbnb and it was like me and this guy named One Luke. And we were just in this video, just having the time of our lives. And it was such a cool thing. But fast forward now, 2026, like, still have this relationship with Drew. He's done so much for me. Even same relationship with Co-Side. And it's just such a cool thing to see, like, how these relationships really pushed me as an artist and become my own brand, you know? And I think that was such a cool thing to experience, is because you meet all these people on such a journey that you're like, I just want to be the biggest rapper ever. Like, but you start picking up relationships that mean so much more to you, and it's really family. And I think the one thing I love about Christian hip hop in itself is the community that it has. Like, there's so many faces, there's so many voices, and there's so many opinions, and there's so much love throughout. You know, obviously, like we still have our drama and everything, but outside of that, the relationships that I have are genuine, and I love that, and I can't take that for granted. And it means so much more to me than like any accolade I could achieve, because it's just like these are the people that I'm living life with, you know? And so I don't take it for granted. But other than that, that's me right now.
That's awesome. And we see that a lot of us know that you have faith in your music. You take that very, very to heart. And we also see sometimes we see some struggles, especially with the Rallada album. We can tell uh, that you're bringing a new life to this, and we like that. So I want to ask you our our last question here for this episode. What moment did you realize that music was something that was your calling? It wasn't just a hobby anymore, but it was something that you needed to do and something you need to put out.
So I was so fast forward, I was in college my sophomore year. My freshman year was an undeclared major. Then my sophomore year, I ended up stepping into commercial music as like my degree. And I was sitting in a music theory class, and I was just thinking about it to myself because I was like, "Oh, this is such a full circle moment." Like, I'm a guy who like quit music, came back to music, and now I'm pursuing music as like my college degree. Like, that's so cool. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, dang, like I really am just a rapper. Like, it's not like I was doing anything else at least at the time. Like, I wasn't doing anything else other than just rapping. Like, I would hop on a YouTube beat and rap. Like, that was it. Now I'm sitting here in a music theory class not understanding anything. And I'm just like, what's the circle of this? Okay, there's flats and sharps. I see the chords. Okay, cool. Triads, all that good stuff. Like passing tones. I'm sitting here like, bro, what is this? Okay, 4/4, got it. But it's just like I'm sitting here and I'm in a class that is for music, and it's a very, very valuable thing to know music theory. And I'm sitting here like, dang, I really ended up getting here from just rapping about my faith and everything. I think that's so cool. Like, where can I take this? And so I was sitting there and I was like, dang, this is the moment I really need to like commit to the artistry. Like, I'll say this for me myself as well, and I'll say this for everyone else. But like, I feel like my intentions with music had changed through the beginning of my artistry to where I'm at now, where when I jumped into Christian rap, like my mission was to like, I'm gonna make music to bring souls to the kingdom. Like, that's my bottom line. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think obviously the mission, I think it's Matthew 25. I could be wrong, but I want to say it's Matthew 25, where it's like, bring everybody to the kingdom, yada yada yada. Um Outside of that though, I was like, that was kind of like the main mission statement. Um and so I was like, wait, like I think that is such a good thing to have, but also like God's given me talents to just express myself. It's not necessarily everything needs to be catered to like bringing souls to the kingdom, because what about the souls that aren't with the kingdom? What about the souls that are already with the kingdom? How are you maintaining that as an artist? Like
Yeah.
there's so much more than just bringing people to God. What about when you're already with God or when you're not near God? And so being able to create music that's for everyone and not just for the people that are looking to find Jesus, I think kind of shifted my perspective as an artist. I think that's a really cool thing to have because it's like you think about it as like, oh, this is a calling, like this is a mission field and everything like that. But it's also like music has such a powerful, like it's a powerful weapon that can be used for good and evil. Like Satan, he was the ain't like wasn't he, okay, it was the angel of music, right? What was the I think there's I want to say yeah, he was definitely the angel of music. And so I love how I was like unsure about that for a second. That's funny. But yeah, like Satan himself was like literally the angel of music where he could creep into records and like speak doubt into your mind, speak anxiety into your mind. Like the idea of that and knowing how like far music can actually go to influencing people, like I think that made such an impact in my own brand, my own music in itself. Because I wanted to make something that's catered to multiple audiences other than just Christians. Because I feel like music should offer more than that. Like it shouldn't be capped off, you know? And so being able to like step into that really made me realize like what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I think that was such a cool thing to kind of come into fruition.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think like just seeing where God's taken that and like the maturity in my own faith where I like can stand hand to hand with God knowing the records I'm making is fruitful is such a cool thing. It's such a cool thing because I'm taking concepts and I'm writing parables and I'm seeing where music can actually like really, really go and like taking it as far as I can in the experimental route and just like playing with these ideas in itself. It's been such a cool journey in itself to just figure out because it's always such a big puzzle you're just trying to like map each piece to. And then once you have the actual canvas done, it's like such a beautiful thing. And so this is that album.
Yes. Well, we can't wait for it. Can't wait for it to come out. And
Yes,
this is
sir.
episode. This is episode one of the Swamp. And today was a who is Peair, learning about Peair as an artist. And we'll see you on episode two.
Peace.